It's a good AGam in Kansas morning. Good morning. Let's take a look and see what's coming up today. First, Dr. Chris Blevins updates us on how to prepare our horses for travel to horse shows in 2016. Next, Bill Schapaugh shares the research he's doing on soybean breeding, genetics, and management. Then Dustin Conrad discusses the various changes he made when planting corn this year. And Mark Pettijohn updates us on the status of a wheat field he planted on October 7th. We'll end with a report on the grid premiums paid by packers in 2015 to beef producers. Closed captioning brought to you by Ag Promo Source. Together we grow. Learn more at agpromosource.com. This segment brought to you by Kansas Regenerative Medicine. Your stem cells, your health, your life.
Hello and welcome to Horsing Around. I'm Dr. Chris Blevins at Kansas State University Veterinary Health Center. Today, talking about what you should do with horses when you take them to shows and what you should be thinking about while you're there to make sure they stay healthy or to try to prevent things while at a show. You know, I think the whole gamut of that could start with biosecurity. You should always start with your veterinarian and making sure that you discuss ways to help prevent diseases based on vaccination, what potentially your horse may be exposed to while at shows. A lot of them are respiratory, a lot of them can have vaccines to help try to deter some of that or prevent the horse from getting them. In addition, you know, health papers, your veterinarian doing a health exam on your horse, having that Coggins test, going to the shows. It's also a legal matter, so going to the shows with those is also required to keep your horse healthy. And you hope that others are doing the same thing while they're at the show too with their health paper and Coggins. Now the other aspects of a horse when they're at an unfamiliar area is rest and, you know, trying to make it so it's as familiar with them as possible, making sure that they don't feel too anxious, sometimes putting curtains and things up around the stall just so they can have those times of rest. Anything that's very familiar, similar buckets, hay, feed, don't want to change a lot of those things while you have with your horse. The other thing is water, and I think that's also very crucial because a lot of the times the water is a lot different than maybe what the horse is used to back home. It could be the aspect of minerals that are in that water or softeners if it's in kind of a city type of realm, or even the chloride or chlorine that they put in with it can make the water taste a little different and maybe the horse wouldn't want to drink. If that happens, then the horse could potentially get colicky if they're not drinking enough water. So managing and making sure your horse drinks water is very important. The other thing I always tell owners is make sure, if you can, bring your own water. Mix it with the other water so they have that kind of familiarity with the same water. Salt block. That's a very easy way to just make sure, again, that you stimulate drinking. Put the salt block in with their stall while you're at the events, and that's going to, again, keep them drinking. You can always wet down the hay too, and that'll also stimulate drinking. So any of those things, aspects of making sure your horse stays healthy, always consult with your veterinarian with other ideas and aspects of concerns that you may have while going to shows. Start there, keep them healthy, and have a great season out in the show world during your spring, summer, and even at Equifest. I'm Dr. Chris Blevins here at Kansas State University Veterinary Health Center, and we'll see you around.
Hello friends, I'm Ernie Rodina.
And I'm Dawn Dawson with the Better Horses Radio Show.
For over 9 years, we've been bringing the Better Horses Radio Show to markets all across the Midwest. We talk about God, lots about horses.
We talk about cows, we talk about horse health, we talk to top trainers, and we even talk about Roy Rogers.
We are having a blast with Better Horses Radio Show and would love to take it to a market near you.
So visit our website at betterhorsesradio.com and let us or your local radio station know you'd like to hear it in your area.
The Better Horses Radio Show is unbelievable.
Through the generosity of Dr. Eva Gardner and Dr. Dan Thompson, Kansans now have the opportunity to support the wildfire relief effort by purchasing a signed and numbered print of the original painting, A Walk Through Henry's Dreams, by Dr. Gardner. This gallery quality print is only $200. Order your print today online or call 785-273-5115. Please help support the Kansas Livestock Foundation Wildfire Relief Fund.
Grain sorghum is one of the most important cereal crops worldwide, and Kansas leads the nation in its production. Over the years, sorghum has been either exported, used in animal feed domestically, or for other industrial uses. Recently, its use in the ethanol market has seen tremendous growth, with 30% of domestic sorghum typically going to ethanol production. Kansas Grain Sorghum is committed to sorghum research, market development, and education. Learn more at ksgrainsorghum.org.
Support Kansas agriculture education with an AgriTag. AgriTags are available anytime at your county treasurer. They look great on cars and trucks. For more information, go online to ksagclassroom.org.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture. To join today or for more information, go to kfb.org or find us on Facebook and Twitter.
My name is Bill Schapaugh. I'm a soybean breeder with the agronomy department at Kansas State University. And I work along with Tim Todd, who's a nematologist in the plant pathology department, and Harold Trick, who's a plant transformationist in the plant pathology department. And we work on a project funded by the Kansas Soybean Commission that has elements of plant breeding, soybean breeding, and genetics, and also on management. In terms of the plant breeding and genetics, we're interested in developing new genotypes, identifying desirable germplasm in the germplasm collection that can be useful to develop new germplasm, new varieties. We are interested in using the latest genetically engineering techniques to improve resistance to various types of pests and or pathogens. And the focus now is and has been on soybean cyst nematode and developing better resistance than we can get from using native genes that are in the germplasm and looking at unique ways to deal with that. We're also interested in SCN, soybean cyst nematode management. It's a challenge for many of our producers, and it's a very diverse pathogen, and so we are interested in developing new varieties that are resistant to soybean cyst nematode, but we also want to have our pulse on the characterization of level of resistance in the commercial varieties that producers are growing, and I also understand what's going on dynamically in the SCN populations in the field as producers grow cyst-resistant varieties or susceptible varieties in the field, and understand the population dynamics and how that impacts and all works together. I've received funding from the Soybean Commission since I started. I started in 1979, and I believe about 1980 or 81 was the year the Soybean Commission was created and got started, and we received funding, and the funding grew and the project dynamics grew over time. But variety development, soybean variety development, is a continual process. We continuously look for new gene combinations that result in varieties that better fit our need. In general, we are seeing about 1/3 of a bushel per acre per year increase in yield over time in Kansas. Okay, that's due to new varieties. There's also increases due to production and better weed control and so on. But in terms of the genetic contribution, now that's from everybody. That's the private companies and public breeders, and we see our role as a public breeder is we're developing new germplasm. Some of that could be utilized directly by producers, but we see our primary value of developing new germplasm, new information, new genetic material that can be captured by breeders around the country, including the private breeders, and then they can use that to build upon, use that as a foundation to build new varieties that would go to producers. We are also very interested in understanding or developing ways to improve the breeding process. So one of the areas that we've been working on the last several years, again funded by the Soybean Commission, is using remote sensing. I think everybody's familiar with the drone technology that's out there and being developed. Well, a lot of that technology is going to be applied to agriculture. It is being applied to agriculture. And we want to apply that type of technology to plant breeding. So we are very interested in capturing information, informative information through remote sensing, learning more about yield, learning more about drought stress, learning more about adaptation of plant introductions, learning more about soybean sudden death syndrome, capturing this information that is more informative, can either complement the data that we're already capturing, or it may be even take the place of that in some cases to make the breeding process more efficient.
Buying a car shouldn't be this hard. And at Brown Chevrolet Buick in Wamego, it isn't. It's actually awesome. Whether you want a new or used car or truck, Toby's team can make the deal. Even if you want to custom order a new car or truck, Toby's team can make the deal. See Toby's team at Brown Chevrolet Buick in Wamego. We're awesome. Next time you see a beautiful field of corn, reach out and thank the farmers who work tirelessly to raise corn for livestock feed, renewable fuels, and exports to feed a growing world population. The farmers on the Kansas Corn Commission work for Kansas Corn with grower-funded checkoff dollars that support foreign and domestic market development, research, promotion, and education to expand opportunities for Kansas farmers. To learn more, visit kscorn.com.
This segment brought to you by Heinen Brothers Ag, farmers helping farmers by offering quality aerial and ground application, fertilizer, ag chemicals, and anhydrous ammonia. Call today to protect your crop yield.
Good morning, my name's Dustin Conrad. We're out here in central Kansas outside of Solomon. We're wrapping up some of our corn planting for the 2016 year. We're putting in a plot right now of different varieties. We have a couple numbers from Stein seed, Pioneer seed, Oldie seed, and Hagemeyer seed also. We're putting a 14-35-10-2 mix on starter. We're just planting a solid rate through the plot of 23,000. Last year this field was harvested as soybeans. It was double crop beans that we strip tilled it last fall with no fertilizer. We'll put the fertilizer on this summer in our applicator, rolling applicator. We do that for we have a grant that we're involved with, that the theory is to only apply fertilizer within 30 days prior to planting or after. A few years ago, we decided to start strip tilling out here on our farm. We've been 100% no-till for 20 years plus, and we tried it out, seed quite a bit of a yield gain out of it. Plus, there's lots of intangible benefits. Like this year, we've noticed that we were able to get into the field a little earlier and start planting. It's early April right now, and the soil temperature in the strip till is 62 degrees, and out of the strip till it's about 58, and that allows us to plant a little earlier to get the corn up and tasseled before the really hot dog days of August get here, which we've noticed quite a bit of a yield gain out of just that fact alone. Another thing that we like about the strip till is that we have the ability to variable rate fertilizer with our machine, and we like to have it as banding down in the strip till so that the plants can absorb that nitrogen later in the summer. Later this week, we'll be over planting a field, and we're going to do a population study for K-State. We've been involved with them for about 3 years on doing population studies. We usually do 3 repetitions of each population, one at a lower number at about 14,000, one at 16,
and then 20, 22, 24, and 28, and then usually sometimes we'll do a higher rate of 30. It's an on-farm research that we do with them that has taught me and my boss quite a bit about, controlling seeding rates for corn. This fall we'll harvest this plot and we'll have a weigh wagon out here to study get an exact yield of every variety, which, that can determine what varieties we plant next year. This is the third year we've done a study with K-State. The first year we had determined that our farm average was 24,000 population. And through the K-State study, we actually determined that a lower seeding rate in central Kansas climates, it would be more effective and efficient for population, for cost of input versus yield. So we actually, the second year, decided for a farm average, we lowered it to 22,000, which then we learned last year because of the amount of rain that we had that it wasn't high enough. But this year we'll see what results we get, and that's why we're doing I think a 5-year study total to check against rainfall, etc.
Earlier in my life, I rode bucking horses in rodeos, and my shoulders took such a beating, and that was probably the reason for having several previous surgeries on both shoulders. About a year ago, I decided that I didn't want to have another surgery. And so I contacted Kansas Regenerative Medicine, took their treatment process. It was relatively pain-free. Now, after 8 months, my shoulders have healed to the point where I think I'm probably 90 to 95% of normal. It takes a couple of months to start to see results with stem cell injections, but at about 3 to 3.5 months, I started to feel better. I started to have less pain and feel real progress. That continued to increase gradually until now at approximately 8 months. And I'm extremely pleased. I've got full range of motion. I can lift weights, I can throw, I can do a lot of things that I couldn't do without a lot of pain previously.
The Kansas Wheat Innovation Center in Manhattan is rediscovering ways to get improved varieties and new genetics in the hands of farmers faster. Grower-led and checkoff-funded research initiatives are bringing about positive change. This grassroots leadership provides a strong voice in Topeka and Washington, D.C. Now is the time to partner with Kansas Wheat in moving wheat forward. Kansas Wheat Commission and Kansas Association of Wheat Growers. Farmers investing in their future and yours. Log on to rediscoverwheat.org.
Heinen Brothers, a fourth-generation Northeast Kansas farm family, knows how tough farming can be. Farmers helping farmers. Heinen Brothers Ag, selling and servicing crop protection products, fertilizer, anhydrous ammonia, cover crops, quality aerial and ground application. Call today to learn about our extended term financing program, 800-760-4964. HeinenBrothersAg.com.
AGam in Kansas, brought to you in part by Kansas Corn. Learn more at kscorn.com.
Hi, I'm Mark Pettijohn, standing in an oldie grain field, wheat field that was planted October 7th of last year. We were out here today to see if the flag leaf has emerged, but it's still down in the whorl, so we're kind of early with our twin line. Maybe 2 weeks from now, we'll put 8 ounces of twin line down to both prevent diseases and cure any that might be out here. This wheat was planted October 7th, and it was following soybeans. And at the time of planting, we put a dry starter blend down of about 15 units of N, over 40 units of phosphorus, some sulfur and some zinc. And then on December 15th, we ran a rolling coulter out here, both in the ground and dribbling on the surface, about 60 units of nitrogen. The other split rate of bulk nitrogen went down March 15th, and it was approximately 25 units of nitrogen and I think 15 units of chloride. I think the wheat looks really good, but the ground is definitely dry, drier than I thought, and the bottoms of the plants are yellow, not from the freeze. It survived really good from some recent low 29-degree nights. The wheat looks better from the road. It's actually a little disturbing out here. It's dry. It needs 2 inches of rain. Right now, I would expect this wheat field to make 60 or 70. Wheat kind of has 9 lives. It may have burned up a couple this winter is all. So we're still really optimistic, and at these prices, it really needs to make, 60 to break even probably. It's a very expensive crop nowadays to raise, but it has potential beyond 60. It has potential below 60, unfortunately, also.
Soil is the life of a farm, and for 25 years, SureCrop Liquid Crop Nutrition has helped growers produce abundant quality crops while preserving and improving the soils they steward. SureCrop offers complete soil and plant analysis with cropping recommendations, delivery direct to your on-farm storage, and quality crop nutrition custom blended for your field. Choose SureCrop for the assurance of excellence for your soil. Call today or visit their website for more information.
When your living depends on agriculture, you can depend on KFRM 550 AM. If you're in the southwest 3/4 of Kansas or the northern half of Oklahoma, catch us at 550 AM on the radio dial. But if that isn't you, listen on your cell phone at TuneIn Radio or on your computer at KFRM.com. We promise to keep you informed, entertained, and company as you go through your day. KFRM 550 AM, the voice of the plains. We would like to join your management team.
I think it really extends your home out to the outdoors, and Mark always had kind of a vision of what he wanted to do with the yard, and so he envisioned this kind of outdoor area, the waterfall and things, but when Blueville came in, they had some really good ideas of how to place it and how to do different things that really enhanced the project. So.
Yeah, over the years we've grown to really enjoy our outdoor living space and developed a great working relationship with Blueville.
Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture, represents grassroots agriculture. The state's largest and most powerful farm organization stands up for its members through leadership development, agriculture education, legal defense, environmental advocacy, farm safety, and risk management. Members also enjoy money-saving benefits. To join our organization today or to learn more, go to www.kfb.org or find us on Facebook and Twitter.
AGam in Kansas is brought to you in part by SureCrop, liquid crop nutrition delivered right to your farm.
Packers paid almost $1 million per week last year in grid premiums for cattle that earned the Certified Angus Beef brand. That's according to results of a biennial survey of the 4 major processors in North America.
Yeah, that's just for the Certified Angus Beef premium on the grid. It doesn't count the extra premiums paid for hitting the choice level, above average choice. It doesn't count the premium for hitting prime. Now prime has become 6% of all certified Angus beef marketed last year, was prime. And so those are always significant premiums not counted in this.
Last year's $51.8 million in grid premiums is a new record, but the trend is strong. Almost all of CAB grid premiums across 38 years have come in the last 2 decades, with more than half in the last 6 years.
It shows that we have a very competitive market, including marketing these cattle on the grid. Packers have commented to us that even if you don't grid your cattle, they're still valued on the grid, and Packer representatives have said on the record that they estimate that they've paid just as much in the cash market as they have in the grid to get the CAB cattle.
Souther says that could push the total added value CAB producers have earned to more than $1 billion.
So no matter what time in the life cycle of the calf you sell that animal, whether it's at weaning or stocker phase or the feedlot phase, you're rewarded for hitting the certified Angus beef target or for having high quality Angus cattle.
Producing to meet consumer demand is not a new idea. Souther says It's a proven strategy, regardless of outside factors.
Well, you know, there's a lot more uncertainty coming into the cattle market this year, but it looks like the one thing that you can still always count on is you've got a stable to increasing premium for hitting the certified Angus beef target or prime.
I'm Bob Sue.
Closed captioning brought to you by Ag Promo Source. Together we grow. Learn more at agpromosource.com.